Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Armin's Life. Thanks for tuning in. This is Deanna. So I told you I was going to pump out these videos, y'all. Let's jump right into it. I don't waste time because, people do too much gabbing for me sometimes when I listen to YouTube videos. So let's do it. All right. You see the thumbnail. We're going to talk about Porsche because she seems to be trending right now with Simon being detained. Now, let's talk about Porsche. On my thumbnail, I said that Porsche's going to always have a problem as far as men is concerned. Let's start breaking this down. When we first heard about Porsche, as far as the rest of the U.S. rather, is on the Housewives of Atlanta. She had merged. I forget how many seasons ago. It's just too many numbers. But she came in, the season maybe about 10 years ago. Maybe I don't know. Y'all can tell me. And when she came on, she was with Cordell, who was a football player. I think he was a retired football player at that point. I don't remember. But anyway, she came in as Cordell's wife. And we saw the show, and, everyone had their opinion about how Cordell treated Portia, on camera and how it all looked. So uh, that marriage played itself out. Now, let's remember this. Remember when her and Cordell broke up, there started to be some gay rumors about Cordell. Now, whether they're true or not, I don't know that. And there is I don't know that there's actual proof. I just heard a lot of, rumors and stuff like that. But as far as having actual documented proof, like people can show screenshots or somebody coming out and saying that they had a relationship with him and it was confirmed, because people can say anything, but how can you confirm it? Where are the receipts? So we never really knew 100% what went on with that. So we saw Portia come along. So, she wound up getting a divorce. And, on the outside, Cordell treated her poorly because remember, he locked her out the house. She had to come get her things from outside. And, she went through, had to go through her divorce settlement. And she wound up getting, I think that first house, if y'all can remember, she had purchased a cute little house that Nene had came over to. It wasn't a bad house. It was nice. It wasn't a row home. It was a nice house for her to be a single woman. It was nice. So I remember that. So Portia continues on the show. She gets her starter pack like all these women on television with the BBLs and the boob job, because Portia was a lot smaller when she first came on Housewives of Atlanta. As you can see very clearly that she's had work done. So next we're going to move on to Dennis. So Dennis comes along. He's this guy that owns this hot dog franchise. I don't know what he got going on. But anyway, Portia thought that she was going to marry him. She winds up getting pregnant, and that relationship dissolved also. Now, when that relationship dissolved, that's when you heard all these rumors about Dennis being into bestiality and just, cheating allegations. And I'm not saying these cheating allegations may or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not here to say whether or not this man did it or not. All I'm saying is I'm showing you guys a pattern. That's all I'm showing. I'm showing you a pattern. So now we move on from Dennis. Now you got to remember, in between Cordell, Dennis, and Simon was the rumor that Portia has slept with a stripper. So we don't know if that's true or not either. This is something that was said amongst the housewives, and again, it was rumored. So we don't know. So now we move on to Simon. Now, what it appears to me is each relationship that Portia gets into, she ups the ante with her craziness. So this is what it looks like to me. So now we move on to Simon. She meets Simon through, being on the show because Fallon was brought on the show. So Fallon came on there, and that's when Simon comes in. Now Simon and Dennis knew each other or know each other. And if you know anything about Atlanta, most business people, especially if you're making any real money, they kind of know each other down there, especially the men. They're aware of each other's businesses. They might not know each other personally, but they're aware of, who owns what, in the city. So Portia goes sashaying her new booty and her new boobs over there at Valiant House, scoping out the scene. And then the next thing you know, she goes skipping happily ever after with Simon. So fast forward to now, they only been married a little over a year. And now Simon is being detained. And while Simon is being detained, Portia has already, well, I'm not 100% sure if Portia put out the rumors about Simon having erectile dysfunction or whatever. Because like I said, I didn't do like a lot of digging with this because this is Portia's MO. Every man she gets with, when she doesn't get what she wants or things don't turn out right, she starts to trash them. Now, let's break down Portia for a minute. Portia is a pretty woman. She really is. She's a pretty woman. She's not that bright, but she's a pretty woman. I will say that. Because anybody that didn't know what the Underground Railroad is, and you a grown woman, and your grandfather was in the civil rights movement, honey, that's very embarrassing. And I think that Black America is going to, especially those of us who watch Housewives, we ain't gonna ever forget that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry because that was just insane. So I'm sorry, Portia. I don't mean to insult your intelligence, but honey, you just not that bright. So anyway, Portia seems to do have the same formula. She gets with these men with money, and when things don't go her way, then she trashes their reputation in some way, and then she tries to get what she can on her way out the door because these men be having prenups and certain things in place because if you guys remember, Dennis wanted her to sign a prenup and she didn't want to sign it, and that was one of the problems that they were having besides the cheating. Now if it never came out about Dennis cheating, I think that they probably still wouldn't get married because Portia did not want to sign the prenup, or another prenup might have been negotiated, and I think that's what it was. Now when Portia was with Cordell, she really didn't have too much going on, but when she got with Dennis, from what I understand, she had a huge IRS debt, and word on the street is that Dennis paid that IRS debt off. That's the word on the street. So Portia got what she wanted out of Dennis basically, but she wanted more, but she got what she wanted. Then she went sashaying her BBL and her new boob job over there to Simon's house and started, floating her big butt in the pool and wound up, walking away with Simon. And Portia, because Portia's not too bright, she don't do research and she don't do good research. Portia thought that Simon was worth multi-millions of dollars. So this is why she did what she did. We all know, we all know that Portia wasn't really attracted to Simon. We know that. Let's be real. She was attracted to the wallet. So we all know that. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because women like Portia, they are a crash out and a burnout. And I'm gonna explain why. When Portia first came on the scene, she was young. She's still pretty. She's not a bad looking woman, very attractive, but she was younger. You can see that she was younger because see now all the stuff going on, she's aged. She was younger and she was like kind of innocent, I guess you can say. When I say innocent, people really didn't know who she was. So it wasn't like that. They might have known her in Atlanta, but the rest of America didn't know who she was. So Portia came off as a sweet, demure Southern young woman who needed to pick up a history book, every now and then. So, so her reputation didn't seem so bad back then. But then when she got with Dennis, we started seeing see was, Portia kind of what she was about. We saw that she was about the money. Now you saw that because she didn't want to sign the prenup. And next thing you know, she's pregnant because she didn't get pregnant by Cordell. Now, I don't know if Cordell wanted kids or not. I don't know because he had children. But, next thing you know, she's having PJ. So she didn't marry Dennis because of the cheating or whatever, but I don't think it was the cheating. I think it was the prenup. I really do. I don't think it was that. I think because Portia was on the show and everything played out in public, I think that if Portia was just a regular woman and not on the Housewives of Atlanta, I think she would have married him. I think she would have married him and probably renegotiated that prenup, because she signed the prenup with Simon. And the reason why she signed the prenup with Simon is because she thought that Simon was worth way more than what Dennis was. So that's why I believe, that's why Portia signed the prenup. Now, what I believe that Portia found out that Simon is not worth as much money as she thought. I think when she started to do a little digging, or maybe she wanted to do some things or buy some things, Simon was probably telling her, well, you can't, well, I can't. And I think that Portia finally found out what's really going on. Because she done went from, look at my man, look at my husband, his new teeth, he losing weight, this and that, all this stuff she talking about, to all of a sudden he got erectile dysfunction. She rumored to sleeping with Future. Child. So anyway, I bring this up to say that women like Portia, she's going to spend the rest of her life trying to find a halfway decent man. Because the way Portia is moving and her track record, no good man is going to want her. Number one, Portia appears to be ran through. So when you're on television, in the media, and when you hear that this cheating had three public relationships, rumored to be with the stripper, rumored to be with Future. So when you start, and then wasn't there some sort of y'all can let me know in the comments, but wasn't there some sort of lesbian thing? Like I can't remember. I thought I heard some rumor about her having a lesbian experience. I'm not sure. But anyway, her public reputation is not good. So, taking her public reputation, combining it with her age, combining it with having a child. Now, not saying having a child is bad and her age is bad. That's not what I mean. When you add all this stuff together, what good man is going to want her? Now, I'm not saying a man ain't going to want her. I said a good man, because Portia is too busy chasing a dollar. And because she's chasing, and it's nothing, let me explain something. It's nothing wrong with a woman practicing hypergamy. There is nothing wrong with that. More women should be doing it. More black women should be doing it. They should be practicing hypergamy. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that Portia is doing it irresponsibly. That's the problem. And in between these relationships, she's also tarnishing her image by rumored to be sleeping with strippers, rumored to be sleeping with Future. So Portia is considered a public figure. So what man, now let's just think about it. Portia is a beautiful woman. She's in a certain income bracket. She's not poor. She ain't living in a row home or in the projects. Even if she don't stay in her current mansion, Portia still has a beautiful home over there in Atlanta. A beautiful, nice home. So Portia's still going to live well. But what reputable businessman that is worth millions is going to want Portia? And when I say reputable, I mean a businessman who does a lot of moving and shaking with other businesses, financiers, and things like that. Why would he want Portia with the image that she has when he could get him another woman that doesn't have any of that baggage, any of that stuff, and have, a wife that he can be assured will be by his side? Because Portia appears to be the type that she secretly wants to be a 304. So that's what it seems like to me. So Portia, it's unfortunate, but these women, it's so many women like Portia. They use their body and their looks for so long. And what it is now, they get to an age and a point where the pool of men that they can pull from is getting very, very small. I see Portia in the future being with a foreign man who doesn't know a lot about her past, or another man from another culture, because there's not too many black men that good black men, I'm going to say, not black men, good black men that's going to want Portia. It's too many women out here that is better than Portia. They don't care about the Housewives of Atlanta. What they care about is that her reputation. And this man would also be afraid to bring her around his colleagues. Because if Portia is, say, Portia meets this financier, okay? Let's say she meets him and she's dating him, and he has, like, business galas to go to, business, high profile business dinners. He's not going to want to bring Portia because there's going to be other men in the room that probably got more money than him. And Portia likes to run off with the highest bidder, because we just saw that because she jumped from Dennis to Simon. Now, even though her and Dennis were breaking up, Simon was married at the time. He was married to Fallon, and Fallon was on the show. So you done went in this woman's house and put your BBL in her pool, and then next thing you know, you walk out the door with her husband. That's insane. That's nasty work. That is real nasty work. And see, men peep the scene. If you think, like my girl Meatball say from Baddies, I don't watch Baddies, but I know who Meatball is. Portia be scoping the scenery out. Okay, so Portia cannot be trusted. So Portia's going to have a hard time with men. This is not going to be her last hurrah, her last go around. You're going to hear, Portia rumored to being with other men. She's going, just like her and Phaedra went to that African celebration back in December, where all the big high roller Africans was down there partying. Her and Phaedra put on their freakum dresses and went on down there to try to get them a man. Okay, that's what they was trying to do, because they was out there. They was out there on the stroll, child. I don't care what nobody say. They was out there on the stroll. So, and they weren't the only ones. It was plenty of single women down there that was out there on the stroll. And what makes it so bad is these men don't want them. That's the sad part. They want to use them. They're play toys to them. So, and now I'm also, it's another component to this thing with Portia that is another piece that's missing. What people don't understand is how you go into a relationship is it affects the outcome. When you're going into a relationship out of deceit, lies, and just straight for money and nothing else, it's not going to turn out right. When you go into something with bad intentions, then only bad things are going to come out of that. Like, say for example, you go into a marriage with good intentions. Say you go into a marriage and the marriage didn't work. So yeah, you might get a divorce and stuff like that. But after that's over, you're still not going to experience like as much turmoil as someone who goes into it with bad intentions. Because when you go into something with bad intentions because you just want the money or you just want the status, when you can't get what you want, the blow is bigger. So the blow is much harder because of the fact you thought you were going to get what you want. You thought you was going to go in here and get these money, get this money, get these cars, get private jets, all these clothes. You thought you was going to get all this, and come to find out you didn't. So the blow is bigger. But when you go into something with good intention and you're not, going in for just that, you went into it because you love this person, you want to build a life with them. Yeah, when you come on the other side of divorce, yeah, sure, you'll be hurt and you'll be upset. But you'll also, in many cases and some not, you'll get what you're supposed to get on the other side. And also, you can also move on to another relationship and have a good relationship with somebody, because that person that comes in your life, they saw, okay, you really love this person. We all know that Portia did not love Simon. Let's be real, y'all. Let's just put the cards on the table. Let's just put the cards on the table. Look at Portia and look at Simon. And it's not just about looks, it's also about age. Because can't nobody tell me that Portia was attracted to that man. That man come along with a big old pot belly. He's much older than her. And you can't tell me that man is sexy. There's nothing sexy about that man. Nothing. The only thing that's sexy about that man is that man's wallet. And come to find out, he don't have as much money as he said he did. And I knew that all along. Because see, I'm not saying all Africans are scammers, because that's not true. But One thing about Simon, this is what I noticed. I noticed with Simon, you cannot pinpoint any business that he had. You cannot say, Simon can't say, okay, well, I owned a string of gas stations. I have this company and it does that. He had an office. Where's the office? He doesn't have an office. He doesn't have a secretary. He doesn't have, and I understand that everybody doesn't have that. But if you're worth millions of dollars, you have a team. You have something, whether it's an assistant, whether it's a receptionist, whether it's what is it called, virtual assistant. You have something. But Simon didn't have anything. Where's his office at? We never saw Simon go to an office. We never saw Portia squeeze herself into some a pair of jeans or a tight dress and bring her man some lunch at the office. We never saw that. And you can't blame it on COVID because of the 2020. You can't blame it on that because there's plenty of men who worked from home that still had their secretaries call. You never saw Simon on business calls, or you just didn't see it. So I knew that something was off just watching the Housewives of Atlanta, and she's saying he got all this money. And I know there are men that do foreign business. I understand that. But again, where's your employees? According to what I heard, Simon was supposed to be worth 300 million. If you're worth 300 million, you mean to tell me you don't have an assistant? You mean to tell me you don't have a secretary? You mean to tell me, like, that's why I said I just don't see it. All I ever saw Simon do was walk around with a laptop. So that's why I knew something was off right then and there. I knew it right then and there. Because one thing about me, I got discernment, and there's nothing slow about me. And one thing I know is that when you're a multimillionaire, you have people. You're not hands on. You're hands on. Don't get me wrong, but you're not hands on like that. You usually have an assistant. That assistant has an assistant, or you have a secretary and an assistant, or you have a personal assistant and an assistant. Stuff like that. You tell me, you show me one multimillionaire that don't have nobody working for them. Nobody. It's just a whole solo game. It's people that make six figures that got receptionists and personal assistants and things like that. The assistant. Hell, my fiance has an executive assistant, and he ain't even on that type of level. That's just his job. He's a director at his job, but he has an assistant. So that's what I'm saying. What multimillionaire don't have it? So that's why I said I knew that a long time ago. Portia didn't do any digging, and she didn't look for anything because she didn't want to. Portia wants to be this high roller in private jets, jet setting, and mansions, laying on beaches, and all this kind of stuff. And it's nothing wrong with wanting that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. But what a lot of women don't understand, and I've said this before, the more money a man has, the more problems you're going to have. Because men with money, I done said it before on how these men with money act. Look what Simon did. Even though he ain't had the money, he left Val and went to Porsche. All these marriages, these children, all this kind of stuff. This is what they do. I don't know who watches the Housewives of Orange County, but I watch them because they were the first Housewives show to come on. So I'm still an Orange County girl. Don't ask me why, because the cast is mostly white. The closest they came to black was when they had Kelly Dodd on there because she's half Hispanic, and they need to bring Kelly back because Kelly, cusses them all out. That was my girl. She could fight. But anyway, it was this last season. It was a woman on there. I can't remember her name. I think her name was Dorinda. I think I can't. No, not Dorinda. She's on another one. I can't remember her name. But anyway, she was a friend to the show. She's not a regular castmate. She has money. But see, she married wealthy. She married a man with private jets and this and that. And she talked about how she had everything in life was great. But he got rid of her when she got older. He divorced her and got a younger version of her. This is what they do. because she was sitting there crying. Now, even though he still paid her off handsomely, in the divorce, she did well because, trust me, she's crying in millions. But the point is, I think she married a billionaire. I think she did because she never mentioned his name. She never mentioned his name, and she uses her maiden name on the show. But she was talking to one of the housewives, and she was saying how she had this great life, private jets, flew everywhere, did whatever she wanted, shopping sprees. And then after so many years of marriage and with how many children they have, he just said he don't want to be bothered with it no more and got a younger version of her, a woman that looks similar to her, blonde hair, boobs, the whole thing, because that's Orange County, out there in California. So he went and got a younger version of her. That's what these men do. Look at Elon Muskrat. Look what he got, 12, 13 children, four baby mamas, and then this new one that's an influence. She's 23 years old. Muskrat is what, 51, 52? That girl is 23, 24 years old. What does that tell you? It tells you right there how these men act when they have money. So, Portia, at this point, Portia is a burnout. I'm sorry. Portia is a burnout. Like I said, she's a pretty woman, but Portia's going to go in the same pile with Amber Rose, Masika. What's that other one? What's that other one? That other one that that from that last generation, Amber Rose, Masika, and there's one more. Them girls over there from yesterday. Oh yeah, Bernice Burgos. All these women that are now hitting 40 and over, and they have no options, so they're running around crashing out. Now I'm gonna do another video about that, about how to avoid being them, because all the women that I just named are very beautiful women. They're not ugly women, they're beautiful women, very attractive women, but they don't know how to play the long game. That's the problem. These women do not know how to play the long game. You have the looks, but you don't know how to play the long game. And that's the problem. Nobody taught them how to do it. That's what it is. They gave them bad advice on how to play the long game, because these women want to go after men or be with men that and want to play the long game with these men, but it's not going to happen because men like them don't play the long game. So you got to know where to put what basket to put your eggs in. And that's the problem that Portia and the rest of them have. Because again, Bernice Burgos, she's for those of you who don't know who she is, she worked at some strip club in New York, and years ago, maybe about 20 years ago, she was like the hottest thing there. They used to come from all over. She made a lot of money. I don't know if she was a stripper or a bottle girl. I'm not sure what she was, but I know that she got a lot of attention. And she's a very attractive woman. She really is. She's very pretty. But now Bernice Burgos is, hit. She's a burnout as well, because she's been ran through by rappers and other people. And now, what man wants you? What man wants you? So that's what I'm trying to say. Because see, women want these men, but you don't understand, when you run around and burn yourself out, they don't want nothing that's been burnt the hell out. They don't. If you expecting to get a high roller and you're burnt out, you might get an 80-year-old. Like, you might get that. But you're not getting, a man in your age bracket. They don't want y'all. They don't want them. Y'all are burnt out. Y'all don't understand what that looks like. So why should they take someone like you, who been with half the industry, when they could go get a young, beautiful woman who's never done all that? They could go, because I'm gonna tell you who else is about to be a burnout. Lori Harvey. She just messed up her reputation. Lori Harvey started off good, minus messing with Diddy and Future. Lori Harvey made some dumb mistakes. And Lori Harvey, I'm sorry, Marjorie did not teach her right. Because if that was my daughter, she would have never been dating Diddy. She'd have never been dating Future. Those were both bad looks. Because both men have very bad reputations for different reasons. So I wouldn't have my daughter with men that have bad reputations. I don't care about their financial status or where they are in their careers or business, because that's not what it is. They don't look at that. They look at their reputation as men. And Diddy and Future both have bad reputations as men, not as artists or business person, but as men. So other men look at that and they look at you as like, why would you pick somebody like that? You must don't think that highly of yourself, or you're chasing the bag. You only after the money only. See, this is what women don't understand. I know that we know now, women between us, we know that if you look a certain way, you got your certain wits about you, you're going to try to attach yourself to a man that can provide for you, where you're not forced to work like some of these men want to do 50-50. That's another video. But most women want to be hypergamous. They do. They don't want to be with a man where they have to be the breadwinner or we all fall. Because trust me when I tell you, women resent it later. They might like it in the beginning, but later they resent the man for it because it's against nature. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to that again. We'll get to that another time. It's against nature. Women are not supposed to be the breadwinners. They're not. They're supposed to be the breadwinners themselves if it's just them. But when you get with a man, that man is supposed to be the breadwinner. The man is supposed to make more money than you because that's the only way a man can feel good about himself. A man measures his value in his wallet. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, but it's the truth. A man measures his value in his wallet. A man knows that if he don't have a certain amount of money, he know he got to do whatever he got to do. And when he doesn't have the money and he's attractive, he know he can go after a woman with money, especially if she's older and she's burnt out. Because Portia's going to wind up being with a young boy. She going to wind up being with somebody that's just going to dog her. That this is what's just going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Because look what's happening with Cardi B right now. I like Cardi B. I've been following Cardi B before she even went on Love and Hip Hop. Why are you with Stefan Diggs when he has been with all? Stefan Diggs is a pass around, and he's rumored to be gay or have gay experiences. So I don't know. That's a rumor. So why would you even be around somebody like that? So that's the point I'm making. When you become when your reputation is not good, then what do you? Even though Cardi doesn't have a bad reputation in the industry as far as sleeping around with men, she doesn't have that reputation because Offset is saying things and there's cheating accusations back and forth. But for the most part, we haven't seen pictures of Cardi being with a man until now. We haven't seen any pictures. Now we've seen Offset with a bunch of chicks, but we haven't seen Cardi with a bunch of chicks. I mean men. But the problem with that is that Cardi is moving messy though. She's moving messy. And everybody think, oh, Cardi winning, she winning. She ain't winning. Being with Stefan Diggs is not a win. That's not a win because she only around for the moment. He ain't gonna keep her long term. He ain't gonna do it. And if he do, he gonna dog her out. I mean, it is what it is. So I'm just saying, this whole thing with Portia, we'll watch it play out, but just y'all keep watching. Y'all see Portia's next move. Watch Portia's next move. Portia's gonna have to get her a foreign man or an old man. That's what she gonna get because then nobody else is gonna want her, and that's just it. It's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna close out this video. Portia's a cautionary tale. And I'll come back with another video because we're going to get into some other things. But I just wanted to put this one out here because I've been watching Porsche for years. And this girl is definitely crashing out, burning out. Now, child is rumored that she called the ICE people on her. That's what the word on the street is. That's what I heard. I heard on the YouTube streets that she put up some tweet before it was posted about him being detained. I don't know. Maybe she knew first because she got a phone call. But and plus they have a court date this week. That's another thing. There's a court date this week that Simon has to come back to Atlanta for because um originally Portia won to film in the home, but Simon filed something where he said, according to the prenup, they both can't film. So the judge was willing to hear the case. So they're saying that Porsche got him out of here before the court date because word on the street is Simon hasn't even been in Atlanta. He was in Dubai. And I heard that word on the street is he came back to Atlanta to get ready for this court date. And that's when they snatched his butt up. So that's what I heard, that's the word on the street. So I don't know, y'all, but I'm going to get off of here. Y'all have a good one, and I'll be back.